Let's jump right in. I want you to really think about something for a second. Today's explainer goes into a deep, honestly kind of terrifying psychological reality. Because when you lose a career, whether it's through layoffs, massive burnout, or just your whole industry shifting overnight, it is absolutely never just an HR event. It's this sudden, sharp drop right into the unknown. Now, as we go through this, I actually need you to toss out everything you've ever been taught about bouncing back from a professional setback. We are not talking about sprucing up your resume today, no. We're talking about what happens in those quiet, frankly terrifying moments when the absolute foundation you've built your entire life on just crumbles right beneath your feet.
So, what are you actually mourning? I really want to force a pause right here. Think about it. It's incredibly easy to assume the panic you're feeling is just, well, practical, right? You assume you're simply sad about losing the paycheck, or missing your morning routine, or not seeing your work friends anymore. But looking at the research on this, the psychological devastation goes way deeper than just logistics. Think about it. If it were literally just about the money, a fat severance package would instantly cure the grief. But it doesn't, does it? So what exactly is that heavy, lingering ache? What is the actual loss here?
What we're actually looking at is the loss beneath the loss. On one hand, sure, you're mourning a salary. That's the cold, practical reality. But on the other side, in the deep shadows, the unspoken truth is that you are mourning the story of who you are going to be. You see, when we choose a career, we don't just pick a set of daily tasks. We choose an entire narrative. We project this whole future version of ourselves. We imagine the promotions, the respect, literally the exact way we'll introduce ourselves at dinner parties for the next 20 years. And when that career ends abruptly, that future ghost dies. The true grief we're talking about comes from the sudden, jarring death of that projected future self.
Section 1. The Architecture of Identity.
We are getting into some deeply Jungian territory right now, really exploring how tangled up our professional lives are with our absolute foundational sense of self. The career you lost was never just a job. Just let that stark realization sit there for a second. A career is the actual blueprint of the modern ego. I mean, from the time we're little kids, what does society ask us? What do you want to be when you grow up? Notice the wording there. It's not what do you want to do, it's what do you want to be. We completely fuse our existence with our occupation. So when the job vanishes, a very real piece of your being just vanishes right along with it.
And this brings us to a crucial definition: the architecture of identity. This is the structural foundation of the self, and it's completely, utterly entangled with your professional projection and your job titles. When this architecture collapses, it doesn't feel like a bump in your bank account. It feels like total psychological ruin. You aren't just out of work, your internal compass is completely shattered. It's basically like your house burned down, and you are just standing there in the ashes of your own identity.
Section 2. The compulsive substitution trap. Okay, so what usually happens next? Compulsive substitution. This is that frantic, almost desperate attempt to rush into a new career just so you don't have to face the psychological void. Just think about the standard, everyday advice we all hear, right? Pivot, hustle, get right back out there. We log on to professional networks and see people loudly announcing their exciting next chapter literally days after getting laid off. But the source material for this explainer screams a massive warning here. This is a trap. It's a total distraction. By immediately trying to plug a brand new job into that massive gaping hole, you're actively dodging the necessary painful work of actually mourning the identity you just lost.
Section 3. Denial with momentum. Let's look at exactly how this trap builds over time. 1 hour in, shock, pure shock. 1 week in, manic applying. You know the drill, blasting out hundreds of resumes into the void at 2 a.m. 1 month in, the hustle pivot. This is where you try to convince yourself and everyone else on the internet that you are just so incredibly thrilled to be starting a brand new consulting business. But this timeline? It's not a triumphant story of resilience. It is a haunting psychological flight. Rushing to replace the loss at this breakneck speed is literally just running away from your own shadow. You are sprinting to outrun the ghost of your old identity.
This right here, this is denial with momentum. All that frantic motion, all those exhausting networking coffees, the newly polished resumes. None of that is actual progress. It's a deeply ingrained, almost biological refusal to accept reality. You are moving fast for one specific reason, so you don't ever have to slow down and actually feel the crushing pain of the impact.
Section 4. Letting the old version die.
So how do we actually stop running? Well, we have to face a really profound, terrifying truth. First, you need to let the old version of you die. I know that sounds intense, but to actually recover from the death of a career,
You must experience the complete ego death of your former professional self. You cannot just drag the heavy corpse of your old expectations into your new life. You literally have to grieve the title. You have to grieve the big 5-year plan that is absolutely never going to happen now. You have to completely let it go.
And here is how you actually navigate that deeply uncomfortable, painful stillness. Step 1. Stop the frantic pivot. Seriously, just stop. Stop applying, stop hustling. Step 2. Mourn the lost story. Actually sit down and let yourself feel the genuine sadness of the future you lost. Step 3. Accept the death of the ego. That fabled light at the end of the tunnel, it only shows up after you completely stop running. You have to sit right there in the ruined ashes of your old architecture of identity before you can even begin to think about drawing up new blueprints.
Section 5. True reorganization. Take a deep breath here. The end of the false pivot allows for true reorganization. By flat out refusing the trap of compulsive substitution, by refusing to just hastily slap a fancy new job title over a massive bleeding wound, your psyche can finally begin the genuine, quiet work of rebuilding. True reorganization means you aren't just reacting to blind fear anymore. You are consciously, intentionally constructing a new foundation, a totally new architecture that's actually based on who you are right now, not who you thought you were supposed to be 10 years ago.
I want to leave you with this echoing question, something to really chew on. Who are you when the story ends? Seriously, when the shiny title is stripped away, when that perfect 5-year plan just evaporates into thin air, and when all that frantic hustling finally stops, what is actually left underneath it all? It's terrifying to face, I know, but answering that question, that is the absolutely essential, only way to truly begin again. Take that question with you after this explainer wraps up, and really, truly think about the foundation of your own identity.